A differential captain, a final day punt, and what went wrong with my season, my worst season ever. Well, welcome back to another video. In today's show, we're going to be revealing my team for game week 38. We're going to talk captaincy, all the punts I like. I'm going to show you a differential 15 as well for the final day. But also, I'm going to talk about lessons learned. So, guys, stay tuned for this one. This will be my final video of the season. And boy, it's been a tough one, but I have loved talking to you guys on a weekly basis. So you've made a difficult season slightly more bearable. But look, I want to start with a player I really like this game week. And a fixture I really like and a team I really like is Newcastle. I am looking to bring in a Newcastle attacker. And this is why. This is their XG plot from between the posts last time out. They dominated Arsenal. That first half an hour, how they went in at half time, like, not scoring is beyond me. Raya pulled out 5 saves in the first half an hour. But Newcastle are really interesting because in the last couple of weeks, they've changed their shape a little bit. And I just want to flag this to you guys. If you watch my Sunday debriefs, you'll know I love these past maps and I love looking at little fine margins that could help us with our FPL team. So Jacob Murphy is now playing right back. He's playing right wing back. They've gone from a back 4 to a back 5 since Trippier's been out. Now, that's great news for Livramento owners. He's now wing back, not a full back. We can see here Livramento good against Arsenal. And remember, this is playing one of the best teams in the country, this past map, and it's still impressive. But with this formation, especially against teams like Everton, where they're going to dominate the ball when they're at home, you're going to see a front 3 of a number 9, Gordon one side and Barnes the other. Now, Gordon and Barnes, because there's a back 5 behind them, will have less defensive responsibility. That is brilliant for Newcastle punters. If you want to punt on a Gordon or a Barnes, I love it this week, guys. Newcastle, so much to play for. They have to win. Everton, nothing to play for. St. James's Park, right? Gordon, he's been out injured. He's missed the big final. He's back in the team now. He wants to end the season on a high. He's back fit. Passed the eye test in the last couple of games as well, Anthony Gordon, I must say. And this is against his old club. What more motivation do you need? So look, Newcastle is a punt I really like. What about the other teams we want to identify? And guys, if you're enjoying this video, like and please subscribe to the channel. As I said, it's my last video of the season, but the preseason content I have planned is absolutely lit. So stay tuned for that come July. Probably do some vids in June as well. I'm going to show you my differential team and my team and captaincy and all my lessons learned. So stay tuned for that. But first, just want to look at a little bit of the data from Rob T. So the standout fixtures are pretty obvious. The bookies are rarely wrong. They've got Bournemouth, Liverpool, Newcastle and Arsenal. They're the teams in the 70% and above to win their games, but also therefore to score goals. If you're bringing in players, you should probably be bringing in players from one of those teams, right? Bournemouth I like. I don't know if I love as much now because they lost to City. They've got nothing to play for. But again, Leicester is a great matchup. So we like Bournemouth. I don't love them. I would have loved them more if they'd beaten City. Liverpool, it's the trophy lift. Great. Newcastle, we've spoken about, and Arsenal, not much to play for. We could see some rotation there. I'm a bit worried about Arsenal. Like, I love the Saka punt this week for captaincy, but I need to know he's starting. The other team to identify here is Brighton and Aston Villa, right? We know Spurs and Man United back from Spain on Wednesday night. Spurs have got an open tour bus planned on Friday. They're not going to be ready for Brighton, but we could see that effect of like, we've just won. We want to go out on a high in front of our own fans. We saw it with Crystal Palace after the FA Cup. They went and scored 4 versus Wolves. We all thought Palace would be hungover. They rotated a bit and Spurs will definitely rotate, but you could see that momentum. So again, I don't know if I love Brighton as much as perhaps others, but Villa United, that's a big one. United dead and buried. That's not going to be a nice place, Old Trafford. This is the best time to play him. And honestly, Ollie Watkins is a great captaincy option. Asensio is a really fun punt. So they're the teams I like, which I've discussed. I wouldn't be buying defenders this week, but obviously Newcastle, good clean sheet odds, same as Bournemouth, same as Arsenal. In terms of my team and my big decisions this week, this is what I'm looking to do. So I've got 3 options. Well, 2 options at the moment. This is my team. No changes. This would be very simple, like, I can bench Alanga. For those listening on podcast, it's a strong backline with Kepa, Gvardiol, Aït-Nouri and Livramento, all with home fixtures. The midfield, does De Bruyne start? That's a big question for me. So the question marks I've got here are, which 8th attacker do I bench? And who am I buying this week? Now, if let's say I sell a Alanga, Who do I bench? If I sell Elanga and we'll talk about it in a minute, and put that player in my 11, I've got a bench a Visser or a Kluivert. Don't really want to do that, or a De Bruyne. So it's a bit tricky this week. So I'm going to have 8 very good forwards, I think. So option 1, Anthony Gordon in. We've spoken about Newcastle. I really like Newcastle. I like Gordon. I've got exact funds to go Elanga to Gordon. If I do that, however, it means benching either Visser or, look, I could even bench Kluivert because I'm worried about Kluivert minutes, right? Kluivert hooked at half-time. Brooks came on. Game before that, Scott started over Kluivert. So Kluivert, we're seeing big rotation with Brooks last week. The week before, big rotation with Scott, who is now out for the season. But Kluivert has not been a set and forget by any means. He's in and out the team as that sort of second striker spot, fully up for grabs at Bournemouth. So I'm a bit worried about Kluivert, but I could bench Kluivert in this situation. It's annoying because it's Leicester and he could go and score a hat-trick. But I think actually I'd start Visser over Kluivert. But this would be Gordon in. Spoken about Gordon, spoken about Newcastle. I really like this fixture. I think Everton might just lay down and take it. Like they've got Branthwaite out, they've got Tarkowski out. I think Branthwaite's out. Like Michael Keane centre back. Yeah, I quite want to play against them. So guys, if you like this option, let me know in the comments. This is option 1 of my team. Elanga out, Gordon in. I've got the exact funds to do that. Okay, I'll probably make a decision on Saturday or Sunday. If you're enjoying the video, by the way, guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, as always, for your comments. Option 2, though, is a little bit more, I don't know, it's more premium. Gordon's a great player, but we're not talking about one of the game's best players. When we talk about Bukayo Saka, we're talking about on his day, someone that hits the dizzy heights, right? He's not been great this season, but he has been getting the big chances of late. I think he's only 6 goals in open play from Saka, but I think he's only had like maybe 20 Premier League starts-ish. I'd go De Bruyne out, Saka in. I need to know more about De Bruyne. Maybe we'll get some leaks. Maybe we'll get leaks on Arsenal. Maybe we'll get leaks from Man City. I am a bit worried about those teams. Like, City have to win. So I guess De Bruyne starts. I always expected De Bruyne to be rested for this game. I thought De Bruyne would go out at Wembley, go out at the Etihad. That'd be his last game. Craven Cottage isn't the same hurrah, but they need to win. If they'd beaten Southampton, this would have been a dead rubber. But they dropped points to Southampton 2 weeks ago, Man City. So I think we probably see De Bruyne starting, and we see Marmoush starting. Marmoush looks, what a goal, the Big Dipper. He scored in 37. And Haaland, if you own him, you're happy. Saka isn't nailed to start. If you're Arsenal, there's 2 schools of thought here. Like, you rotate because there's a dead rubber. They've finished second. That's locked in. We're not even competing for second now. Like, there's no money on the line here with places in the table. Do you give the likes of Ranieri a start? Maybe he does. If Ranieri starts, maybe Saka doesn't. Maybe it's Ranieri, Havertz and Trossard front 3. Just don't know. But knowing Arteta, he starts Saka. And if he does, this is a really obvious move for me, isn't it? Feels fun. Feels fun, and I could captain Saka. If I bring in Gordon, I could captain Gordon as well. Captaincy we'll get to in a minute is a really important thing this week. And I think whoever I bring in, there's a very good chance I do captain them. But I also really like Ollie Watkins this week. Everyone's going to go Salah, and I feel like I should probably bet against that. So look, that's where I'm at with my team. It'll be a late decision, but I like Gordon, I like Saka. Team leaks will probably dictate my move, but at the moment, I think I'm veering towards Gordon and captaining Gordon. Could be loads of fun. He's a proper differential Gordon. Like, captaining a player like Gordon, if Salah blanks and Watkins blanks, would be absolutely massive. In terms of ownership, Gordon's at 7.8, but most of them are dead teams. So this is where we're at. That's my team, and I'll put it out on Insta and stuff. I want to show you a differential team. I want to talk captaincy, and I want to talk about where my season has gone wrong. So look, let's talk a little bit about that, shall we now? My season, and then we'll get back to 38 with captaincy, and we'll get back to 38 with all my differentials that I would buy if I was having fun this week. So it's been a dreadful season. I'm at 489k. Wow. So bad. It's my worst season ever. I finished outside the top 100k twice in the last 13 years. Well, I think we've got to make that 3 times in 14 years, haven't we? I ain't getting a 100k finish. Where did it all go wrong? Don't know. There's a few things. Lessons learned. I will continue to play the way I play. And I know that play gets some hateful comments. And I know that play goes, call yourself an expert. But the way I play is high risk, high reward, right? And the risk is the ranks of 500k. I will back against the obvious quite a lot. Look at this team. No Arsenal defence. Most teams you see have got 2. No Crystal Palace. Most teams you see have got 3. Rightly or wrongly, I'm quite often anti-template, and I hope that makes my viewing quite engaging and fun. Now, look, do you follow content creators because you want the best advice? Of course you do. Some of you just want to copy teams, and that's fine. That's not how I think most of my regulars view it. I would like to think, though, if you want a channel and a content creator that won't just tell you to captain Salah and buy double Arsenal defence, that they're good moves, right? You don't need a content creator to tell you to captain Salah every week. You don't need a content creator to buy Raya. Hopefully, you're looking for a little bit more inspiration. You're looking for a little bit more of a left field choice sometimes. And I hope I give you that, guys. And apologies if you've been following me or copying my moves this season. You've had a dreadful season as well. I committed to a very differential chip strategy. I don't think that was an error. I'm happy I did that because I had to do something different because I was having a bad season. The biggest mistake I made was Mo Salah. Early on in the season, when Mo Salah was getting hat-tricks, everyone was captaining him. I didn't even own him because I kept Haaland and I was captaining Haaland. And Haaland, the underlyings, if you look at my luck chart this year, it's the most unlucky season you could wish for because I was going with players like Haaland who were hitting really high XG, but getting blanks. So I do think I've been unlucky. I do think luck balances itself out, and I think I'll probably be lucky next year. So it is what it is. But that was my biggest error, not going Salah. Do I regret it? Yes. Was it a mistake? Yes. The other thing in terms of lessons learned this season, well, the big thing in FPL has been, for me, the rule change of 5 transfers. I've been speaking to a couple of top 20 managers in the last week, and you can see links to their videos after this. I spoke to Seb, who's world number 17. Seb's not taken a hit all season, and he often rolled up to 2, 3, 4, 5 transfers. Right? I spoke to Miguel, world number 4, hasn't taken a hit all season, and he often rolled up to 2, 3, 4, 5 transfers. Both these managers, both in the top 20 in the world, both didn't take hits, and both rolled lots and lots. They both also set their teams up at the start of the season where it could run to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. Miguel said he set his team up for the first 10 weeks, barely touched it. And it puts you in such a strong position. Don't bookmark transfers in, Janny. Don't be too aggressive and think you have to have the best team every week. And realize that if you can roll 3, 4 transfers, that mini wildcard can be so valuable. So next season, that is one thing I want to do. I won't go template. I won't change the way I play in terms of my picks. I will continue to play how I want to play and back against the obvious at times. But what I won't do is be so trigger happy. And I was trigger happy and I took too many hits this year and I didn't roll enough transfers. And I will look at my Game Week 1 team, too many risks. Nkunku, Kwanzaa, Barco, Ben Johnson, players that weren't even nailed and didn't start the season or started and were soon out the team. And I had so many fires to put out, and I don't want that to be the case. So I'm looking forward to Game Week 1. But yeah, lessons learned and the interviews with those 2 top managers. If you want to see what they're doing in Game Week 38, then click the links at the end of this video. I'll put them both in on the final slide. So that's the lessons learned. Enough punishment, Janny. Enough punishment. Realistic hope, I guess, is that I get a massive green arrow and finish 400k, 350k. It doesn't really matter. If I finish 600k or 250k, it's still the worst season ever, right? As I said, twice outside the top 100k in the last 13 years. It's going to be 3 and 14. Damn. Anyway, differential team. This has been requested. Some are on free hit. And if you're not on free hit, then some are on just looking for differential punts. So these are them in every position. This is a 15-man squad. Bournemouth goalkeeper against Leicester. I don't expect Leicester to score. There's no Jamie Vardy either. I would consider an Arsenal defender like Calafiori, who has goal threat. Villa defence, I expect to keep a clean sheet. Definitely a Newcastle defender, Livramento at wing back. And maybe a Man City or a Liverpool defender like Bradley, upside in Bradley, right? But this is where it gets exciting. Who are the midfield punts? Minter, 1% owned. Asensio, a couple of percent owned. Barnes, a couple of percent. Gordon's about 7%. Martinelli, 2-3%. I like all these guys. They're all proper. These are all wide forwards, or Asensio number 10 versus Man United. And then up front, there's no Bournemouth attacker here. Bournemouth, the likes of some of the Bournemouth attackers like Semenyo or Tavernier, you could look at a little bit higher owned than these guys. But I like Welbeck against Spurs. I really like Kai Havertz, guys. Kai Havertz is a great punt for the final day. And look, so is Cody Gakpo. I think Cody Gakpo starts, and he's been playing quite well the last few weeks, Gakpo. Liverpool haven't, But I expect Liverpool to score a fair few goals versus Palace, knowing it's a trophy lift. And that is why so many of you will look to a Mo Salah. So captaincy needs to be discussed, doesn't it? Because the world and their dog will probably go Salah. It's a trophy lift. Of course, Salah's a real tempter, right? Seems little point in me going Salah, but I could just go, look, I think he gets the most points. I'm not saying I'm not going to go Salah, probably won't, but it's an option for me. An Arsenal attacker, if you bring an Arsenal player like Saka or Havertz in, you captain them, fine. Bournemouth attacker versus Leicester, but I like that 4.4% that are looking at Isak captaincy. Cool. If you own Isak, captain him. If you bring in Gordon, maybe captain him. Could be loads of fun. So I quite like Newcastle versus Everton as a matchup. And I think that's where I could go with the armband if I buy a Newcastle player. Let me know who you're going to captain, guys, in the comments. My final things I want to do really is just look back on the season with thank you. So I want to thank, firstly, like a bit of a speech, isn't it? I want to thank all you lot for watching the videos and for commenting and for supporting me through some tough times this season. Like personally, it's been a really tough 12 months for me. I won't go into too much detail, but if you've watched some of my content in the past, you may have seen me discuss it on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, my best mate passed away, and I haven't actually mentioned this in a video. I have on a live, and yeah, it was a bad year. It's been a bad year. And he was a big FPLer. He got me into FPL. So yeah, he's the reason I'm in Tuscany for 3 months. Yeah. So tough time. He passed in September. And yeah, our FPL rivalry was amazing. If you've read my book, he features loads in the book, does Luke. He's appeared on Fantasy Football Scout with me on watch-alongs. And yeah, back in 2007, it was him that was knocking on my door. Literally, we were at university together going, you got to get on Twitter because it's great for football news, and you've got to play FPL. And we were mini league rivals ever since. And I miss him dearly. So shout out to Luke. To all of you guys for lovely comments when that happened back in September as well. But yeah, I also want to send thank you to the chasers that watch from Chasing Green Arrows, to all my channel members on this channel, like to our ultras in the WhatsApp group. I love you guys. To the channel members that support me by just clicking the join button below and clicking and giving a couple of quid a month to keep the channel running or to support me doing the channel so I can do this as a job, means a lot from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to the sponsors as well. Fantasy Football Scout sponsored me all season. Scout is the best FPL resource going. Absolutely. If you don't use Scout, consider it. There's loads of free stuff. You don't have to sign up. I use the members area on a daily basis. When I'm doing FPL research, it's my go-to. And One Football as well, like an awesome football resource. So thanks to the sponsors. Thank you to you guys more than anyone. Many of you have become friends. And thank you guys for listening to all these rambles. I'm sure you've gone by now, haven't you? That I'll be streaming on Chasing Green Arrows, which isn't my channel, but a channel I'm very close to my heart around the deadline. So maybe you'll see me on Sunday morning. But guys, thank you. I'll see you pre-season, and I look forward to chatting more about player prices. Maybe I'll do a video on Monday next week about player prices for next year. Maybe that'll be my final one. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.